Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings in Meridian. That's right. This is the best 2 hours of local live talk radio right here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. So happy to have you here with us this morning. I'm Roger B., and we appreciate you joining us on all of our different formats, whether it be on good old-fashioned terrestrial radio at 102.1 FM or WALTmeridian.com. Whether you're joining us on Facebook, hi, I'll give you a wave. And, of course, all these other things like, are we on X today? Or
No, we're just doing YouTube.
We're just doing YouTube, okay. That is the voice of the guy who knows everything around here because he is our, what's your title? Say hi to Rob Atkinson.
Hey, you do this.
Welcome to Hey Boy, Rob Atkinson.
Hey now.
Yeah, program director, general, kind of take care of everything while the boss is away.
I don't know. Is flunky correct? I don't know.
I tell you what, I don't know.
I'll just stay with hey, you do this.
Hey, you do this. I tell you what, well, you do it well, whatever it is. So
well, we try.
Yeah, you do good. I tell you what. Also, he does things well. Say hi to the man right across from me. Say hi to Mr. Charles Frazier.
Good morning.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And, of course, this is the day we always look forward to each month when we get to visit with the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of Lauderdale County, Mississippi. Say hi to Ward Calhoun.
Good morning. And it's, Rob, it's other duties as assigned.
I like that better.
Pretty much everything.
On your job description.
Whatever we tell you to do.
Does that fit on a T-shirt? Well,
You're the ODAS. You're the ODAS. The ODA. The ODA, that's it.
I've heard him being called that before.
Well, no.
Oh, that was something different.
I've been called a lot of things.
Not Yoda. It was Oda.
Yeah, ODA.
Not Yoda.
Other duties as assigned.
Yeah.
That sounds like something they have over at the Sheriff's Department.
Maybe.
Or at home.
It is.
Yeah, that's my duty at home. Right, whatever we tell you to do.
I'm telling you. Oh, this is great. I always look forward to this Tuesday because I always feel like that, Sheriff, when you're here, I can sleep in a little bit longer.
Wow.
Because it's just going to be such a great show that little effort needs to be made on our part to prepare. So,
Okay, I think that was a compliment. I'm not real sure.
It is.
Take it. Yeah, just run with it.
Depending on callers. Callers are going to call.
Ooh,
That's what it is.
It'd be funny if the sheriff's like, I don't really have anything to report today. What are we
Nothing
talk
going
about
on.
now?
Okay, well,
Oh, come on,
let's
it's
see.
Meridian. There's always something going on.
How's your mom and them? Yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah, there you go. No, we do want to hear from you. We're going to be visiting with the Chief Law Enforcement Officer, Sheriff Ward Calhoun, with us, and we want you. This is a great opportunity that we provide for our listeners because you say, "Well, I'd love to ask the sheriff. I'd love to talk to that sheriff. Boy, if I could give the sheriff a piece of my mind." There might be some of that out there.
That's okay.
This is a great time to do it because he's making himself, and thank you, sir.
Yep. Thank you.
Making yourself available to answer any questions about anything relating to law enforcement or, whatever, the weather or whatever you want to offer your opinion on. And that's what we do. So we put our number out there, 601-485-9191. And we are blessed to have such great sponsors, and we want to make sure we acknowledge them to help make this show possible. And I want to say, if it's time to put a roof on your home, the decision is not hard. All you do is call Martin Roofing.
That's right, Doug Martin, Jr. or Senior. They are the best roofers in town. They've been doing roofing right for over 30 years, locally owned and operated, of course, licensed in the state of Mississippi. And they take pride in standing behind their work from start through cleanup. Now, call them today for your free, and I said free, estimate, and also inspect your roof for damage. 601-485-5920, just like the interstates that run through town. 601-485-5920. And true story, my in-laws had their roof replaced, and they did the doghouse roof as well, and that was complimentary. A little lanyap from Martin Roofing. They're those kind of people that will go the extra mile. Martin Roofing, 601-485-5920.
See, I knew we were going to talk about roofs today.
Yeah. So you knew that.
I figured it would come up at some point.
Okay, we'll investigate that story.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm just glad that Charles came on the show because that's when I finally learned what the meaning of the word lanyap was.
Yeah.
Well, I have no idea. I just used it.
No, it's great. I like the use of that.
Something a little extra,
Yeah.
like a baker's dozen, Or the roof on a doghouse.
Yeah, roof on a doghouse.
Either way.
Yeah.
So much to talk about this morning, and we're going to get the sheriff's opinion on, some things that happened over the weekend. Also, we've got the Republican National Committee the convention starting last night, and interesting news bites from yesterday. For example, a vice presidential choice, and what about a total of nearly $180 million? We'll find out what that's all about. But let's take a phone call first. Mornings in Meridian. Good morning, caller. How you doing?
While you got the sheriff there, I was going to see when you get somebody to incite violence, as did Benny Thompson with his statements about our president, ex-president, future president, what do you think would be the possibility of getting something done or even getting him removed from office for his comments about Trump?
You're asking me, I'm going to tell you that he's going to say it's his First Amendment right to express himself, and the voters keep putting him back in office, and maybe they'll get tired of him, but short of that, I don't think anything else is going to happen.
Well, to say what he said is about as tough as you're going to get to make a statement like that about our president.
Now, what words are you specifically thinking about that he said?
He said that the shooter should have taken target practice.
Well, that was
actually a staffer for Mr. Thompson.
Yeah,
so.
his staffer is the one.
Benny?
No, it was not Benny.
That was the staffer that, which we are reported. It's been reported that staffer has been fired. But
No, actually, it was reported, and that was what I said yesterday. And that's what
I
I thought.
misunderstood it then.
She
I'm sorry.
resigned. He did not fire her. So now it may have been before he had the opportunity to fire her, but still, there was a little bit different that she chose to separate. She voluntarily separated from him.
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
you know, this is exactly why we have this show. We want to clear things up. So this is one way to do that.
There's been enough of that talk, and we need, like Mr. Trump said, we need to unify this country some kind of way.
Now, I'll say this. If you've been a staffer for Benny Thompson and you felt so comfortable to make that statement, one has to wonder what discussions have been like in the office,
Right.
off of the record.
Sure.
So that's just me. That's I think beyond that that little comment there.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate what the job our sheriff's doing, and just want to compliment him on his work.
So it sounds like you're voting for Biden. Is that right?
Wow.
I like.
Yeah.
I had to punch that.
I'm getting older now. Dementia is maybe sitting in on me too. I don't know.
Gosh,
Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for your call. No problems there.
Thank y'all.
But yeah, that's we talked about a little bit about that. But the staffer, I did not know that she resigned on her own.
It was just a little clarification. But, the level of discourse about this whole thing has been somewhat restrained. But I think I've seen snippets of it, I'm sure we all have, of kind of what's lurking beneath the surface, I think, with the far left. And I think that they're all in private. They don't want to go on social media because I think they'll be crucified, but in private are saying the exact same thing. So I think that's common. There was a scene with, I think, Jack Black and his band and, doing the same thing. And I hate to say let's cancel them, because I despise cancel culture, but it's also like, I'm not a big fan anymore, and certainly people's estimation of me.
And you mentioned a little bit what I was referring to yesterday. I said, everybody talks about roll back the rhetoric, whatever. I said, this is America. You say what you want to say. You have the freedom, Sheriff, as you pointed out, to say what you want. But just know that there will be natural consequences to what you say.
I just love former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee last night. He was on Fox, and he said, this temperature is getting really cold in here. The temperature's really gone down. And he was, kind of tongue-in-cheek about the president's interview with Lester Holt, where he got a little snippy a few times. And, of course, our friends over at CNN and MSNBC, just the toxic nature of calling Trump's camp a cult last night. It's just so that took a matter of less than 12 hours, and the rhetoric is back. So
and there's no way that the Democrats can disassociate themselves with rhetoric that could have been construed as rhetoric that would. I mean, when you're calling, I guess if you wanted a great accurate summation of the culpability of the Democrat Party and the Democrat candidates. you could listen to Gutfeld last night.
Well, I mean,
Did you happen to catch that?
I did catch
and
it
the
last
reason I'm
night.
saying that is
Yeah.
he said, you're going to call somebody Hitler for 10 years, and you're going to say that, who would not be thinking, well, if somebody truly is a Hitler,
Or a danger to democracy.
danger to
Threat to.
democracy,
That's exactly
threat
right,
to
yeah.
democracy, then the switches do get flipped sometimes. But I mean, who would not want to have gone back and Gutfeld says this? Who would not have wanted to gone back in time and say, boy, if we could have really eliminated Hitler, that would have saved a whole lot of problems.
Yeah, before we get to our next call here, I just wanted to point one other thing out. You know, you have Biden saying what he's saying yesterday during the Holt interview, and then all of the anchors on all these other networks. But they went back into the same rhetoric, but they all said it, and Trump has not had a chance to speak yet. This is his ultimate opportunity to have that great unifying speech where he does not have that rhetoric, because they're the only ones that are talking right now. He's just kind of sitting back watching, and just his appearance last night, that arena, it felt like it was shaking at some points last night when he made an appearance last night. He doesn't have to say a word right now until Thursday.
It just and. Yeah, it's very interesting. 601-485-9191. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you for taking my call. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Appreciate you being there as well. A few quick comments. I was glad to hear you guys clear up something also, too, concerning a alleged statement that Congressman Benny Thompson had made, and I'm glad you all set the record straight that it was not him.
But it doesn't. That does not change the fact that I sincerely believe Benny Thompson should go to the House.
Well, I mean, and that's, and I agree 100% what you say, Roger, about free speech and censorship and all that good stuff. I feel that we have a right to say, whatever we want, but realize, excuse me, that there are, repercussions behind our words sometimes. But I would really love to, let me just, in that same line, we can't necessarily be responsible for, just like I use this analogy, if you're a coach and you have staffers on that coaching staff, they might go, cavalier. They might go renegade. They might say some things that, relative to something that happened in a game or whatever. You can't ultimately be responsible for what they say, but then they must be responsible for, what they say, pending the actions toward them. So that can happen. But
well, I would bet if I could read minds, I can bet you that there'd be a very high percentage of Democrats who felt the same way but never said it.
Well, see, and I think therein lies the problem. We can suppose all we want to, because I don't know if I consider myself an independent. I know I am an independent thinker, but when I heard the news, I immediately prayed, because I just don't see how it could be that serious with me, as much as I may like or dislike a candidate's political points of views. For me to ever wish something harmful to happen to them or to rejoice, I just don't see how people can take that political position that seriously, where they could I just don't get it. And so I would love to see to stick to the points. If you feel like President Biden has done a rotten job, speak on his political record. Same thing with former President Trump, speak on his record. And the personal attacks have been there on both sides. The innuendos and the accusations and the making fun of, they've come from both camps. And I think it would be good. And I think someone said that it served about 12 hours that people was trying to say, well, yeah, we need to come together, but now they resorted back to the same rhetoric. Well, and I like what you said also yesterday, Roger. Hey, it's politics, and it's going to be some things said about the candidates that if it's your guy, you're not going to like it, vice versa. But I think sometimes we just go in just a little bit too deep, because at the end of the day, and I've met every one of you guys up there on that station right now, and I know that some of my political views diametrically are opposite of you all, but I wouldn't go in with vicious attacks or innuendos or receiving them, and that which I know to be true of you guys, when people will try to say things, and I have defended this group, Roger, Robbie, and Charles. I have defended it. People have said, I said, nope. I said, that's not the case. I said, they got a right to their opinion. I said, I've gone on that show before, and I said, they are the most hospitable and accommodating group of individuals that I've ever met. I said, so now they have their political views, and that they have a right to them. So I think that when we can lend concessions like that, I think that it would be a better America. But unfortunately, we're just not. And I got to say this, especially those of us who say we are Christians, we have modified Christianity. We put conservative Christian, we put liberal Christian. I mean, I think Christians should stand on its own. I don't think it need a modifier. And we need to tone it down. And that was just what happened the other day. That should not have happened. And anyone that is rejoicing in that or glad to see that, I mean, I would say they need to take a deep look inside. And I appreciate you guys giving me an opportunity to say that. And I'll be listening to the sheriff the rest of the way.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Good to hear you. Thank you for the phone call. You, too, can be part of the show. 601-485-9191.
Sheriff, I wanted to ask you this. You had talked yesterday when you called in about Secret Service detail and security advancement teams. Just looking last night at the president, he had a lot more folks around him last night.
Well,
so it seems
yes,
like
absolutely.
So it seems like security is really beefed up in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I would have. I noticed the same thing.
Yeah.
And even though it's an event that some people look at it and go, well, how they worried about it? They checked them for guns and explosives, and this is his crowd kind of thing. But you can't do that. And of course, the scrutiny is on them so much so right now. It'll take a while, and I've talked to a lot of people around town yesterday. Various people talking about it. Let's let the system do what the system does. Let it be investigated. Some people are waiting on every 10 minutes something new coming out on the news. He was wearing a pair of blue jeans, and we determined they were purchased at, it has nothing to do with it. But of course, the media, national media, is constantly looking for something to put out there, and it's going to be I believe when it's all said and done, I said yesterday, communications is going to be a piece of it. There's just from my interaction, some poor planning, decision making at the top. Bottom line, Secret Service is responsible. However, they are heavily dependent. At least they have been, and that's what I've heard from them, on what they call local, which could be local or it could be even state. I was amazed that there were no drones up.
That's been talked about a lot.
I mean, that's just here locally. We were talking about at the office. If this event had happened here, that I guarantee you that would have been.
Yeah.
We would have had multiple resources to be able to have that. To stand off, but be able to look very quickly. Not so much, you're looking at the crowd, but looking for those things that are out of place that are around. But how in the world do you have a building, a rooftop, 130 yards away?
Crazy.
That's.
It impressed me when I heard a former Secret Service say that these snipers train for 1,000 yards out. 1,000 yards. And so
that is always the worry.
Their
scope, the long range.
Their
stuff.
scope could be out there very looking very downrange, and then right underneath you, as what happened here, there's something going on that you don't notice.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong. They said the 130 yards. That wasn't was it level 2 perimeter? However they characterized it yesterday.
Well, I think part of that, and I don't look. I have no. This is
it's
just me watching stuff like everybody else. Is the fairgrounds. This building was a business, and it was
a
not on the fairgrounds.
Plastic company.
And so I'm guessing that the decision was made to more of the fairgrounds, but 130 yards, that's just way too close. I mean, you're talking about even things like car bombs at 130 yards, you can hurt a lot of people. Just look at what went on in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Sure.
Well, I guess my question is this: I would consider, and I'm sure the Secret Service would as well, Trump to be either the number 1 or number 2 target of anybody who's Biden probably being number 1. I doubt that Kamala would be number 2, but you never know. And I'm just saying, in kind of order of their level of protection, you would think that Trump would be in number 1 or 2 position. And so you put your Alabama out there, you put your A team.
Well,
right?
and now J.D. Vance is going to have a detail now since he's the VP
Right,
nominee.
but
so.
this wasn't the A team, obviously.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of questions behind that. Why did they not assess him as being a very likely target, and why did they not put the best of the best and a bigger security detail? But anyway.
There you have it.
I think we'll, once the FBI concludes their investigation, we'll know more. And look, there's going to be failures. I'm going to tell you right now, every time you have people involved in a plan, there's failure. You don't see them because nothing happened.
Sure.
That's just a fact of life. Secret Service not perfect either, but
So
we certainly expect more out of them.
So
For
each
$3.2
successful
billion
event, you had a combination of, we put together in place our best plan, but we also were lucky.
Exactly. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nothing went down. And while we're talking about rhetoric, folks, and again, listener discretion is advised here. But 3 times, at least 3 different letters, you had John Adams refer to Alexander Hamilton, who happened to be born out of wedlock. He's the guy on the what dollar bill? Was that the 10?
10.
Yeah.
Yes,
He
sir.
called him the bastard brat of a Scotch peddler.
Wow.
That was that reference there, and let's see. There's some other things that were referred to in history. Let's see. Zachary Taylor was referred to as a pot-bellied, mutton-headed cucumber.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Where do you get that cucumber from?
We gotta take a break. Let's tone it. Let's bring back the rhetoric here.
Temperature too high.
All right, there you go. We'll be right back.
Rose to national
Yes, indeed. Mornings in Meridian. Welcome back, Roger, along with Rob.
Good morning.
Charles.
Yep.
Sheriff's in the house. Welcome back, Sheriff.
Morning.
More rhetoric from the 19th century. Yes. This was former Congressman from North Carolina, Kenneth Rayner, who was writing about Franklin Pierce. He said, the minions of power are watching you to be turned out by the pimp of the White House.
Whoa.
If you refuse to sustain him, a man sunk so low he can hardly hate. We have nothing but disgust, pity, and contempt.
Is that Clinton? Who are they talking about?
Well, that was the 19th century pimp, pimp of the White House.
Pimp of the White House.
Pimpin'.
And,
Thought we were talking about the Clinton administration.
I thought we were too. I mean, my goodness. I don't know what's going on now?
Sorry, that was low-hanging fruit.
No, it was there.
That was an easy one.
You had a pimp in each century. You know, you had Franklin Pierce, and then there was Bill Clinton.
I love Hillary. Love her a lot.
But you know, it just again, I just want to remind listeners and people, you know,
This just didn't start yesterday.
no,
Yeah.
it didn't just start. This has been part of the American fabric since its conception, and you know, yes. If you say something, as we recognize here on our show, if we say something publicly, there are consequences that we have to face with that. As anybody does. So, you know, it's why you used to sing in Sunday school or, you know, when your Bible study, you said, oh, be careful, little lips, what you say, right?
Well, I think the insults had a little more panache back then. You know what I mean? They were a little, I think now we're just crude. He's Hitler, you know.
A little more
He is a
panache.
mutton-faced cucumber.
And plus those those insults didn't get to a lot of people till probably days, if not
That's
weeks
true.
later, because they didn't have
Right.
this in their hand all the time.
Yeah, that was
Lucky
that was
people.
printed in the Weekly Standard
The
in
Weekly
Raleigh,
Standard,
Raleigh,
yeah.
North Carolina.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, the pimp of the white. We have nothing but disgust, pity, and contempt. Ugh! That's that panache you were talking
I like
about.
it. Yes. Yeah.
The pimp of the White House.
Disgust.
Absolutely. He is the bastard son of a Scottish immigrant. Yes.
Mutton-faced cucumber. I think.
Mutton face, and
Yeah,
and
right.
there's some little bit, and then there's some rough ones in there in the history.
Then it gets ugly.
Mornings in Meridian, glad you're out there, and we are thankful that, of course, Sheriff Ward Calhoun is here with us today, and we got some questions law enforcement wise, and so if you have a question for the sheriff or comment, you're welcome to call our show 601-485-9191, and we'll go to the phones. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all doing today?
Hey, Zane.
Doing fine, thank you.
Well, you know, the sheriff was talking about free speech. I bet you if I exercise my free speech in a certain way right now, you'd reach over with your right hand and push that little button. Is that not true?
Oh yeah, I would. If you exercised the full extent of your freedom to speak, we wouldn't stop you from speaking. We'd just stop you from broadcasting it on the air.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you exercise full rights of free speech, you'd have the federal government on you so quick it'd make your head spin.
Boy, don't you know it.
So there's a time and a place for free speech. And
But-
when we're out in public and it's just a bunch of guys talking, we can exercise our rights to free speech. But why does Penny come in with the military when they come in? You know, it's certain times
because she's in charge. Yeah, she's in charge of the event. She kind of sets all these things up, and she's kind of their well, yeah, she's in charge of that segment.
Yeah, well, free speech is not always guaranteed on every platform.
Well, it's kind of
and
like
there's a time and a place.
it's kind of like what they say. You have the freedom to do anything once.
Right. And so that's, what I'm saying about this Benny Thompson deal with the staffer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you don't have when you're speaking for an elected official like that. Now, you don't always have free speech. Certain people don't have free speech all the time in certain platforms. And so that's, a little bit out of line.
You just say what? Yeah.
It just...
Well, you don't have free speech if you're an employee of somebody. I mean, my servers can't go up and curse out a table. Well, they can, but then they'll be.
But then there's consequences.
Of course, they'll be out of a job.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
as a representative of somebody, you have to kind of walk the line. And
that's when Charles calls his competitors and says, "Hey, I've got too many staff members
Right.
here. Do you need a waitress? You need a server?"
they cursed out Roger again. Yeah. Stupid omelet that he wants.
Oh,
I
we'll
mean,
take
who?
him. We'll
Yeah.
take him. No, but the thing I like the way Paul Harvey used to put it, and he's quoting other people from history when he says it. But with freedom or with liberty comes responsibility. You have the freedom.
Exactly.
You have the freedom to
There
be
you go.
responsible.
Right. So we need campaigns or staffers and for these government officials that are going to be responsible. And that wasn't a responsible remark
Mm-hmm.
like that. So,
And
hopefully
you're
he can find a job again.
I mean, you're talking about the difference between freedom of speech, as far as publicly expressing your opinion, versus the freedom to say what you want to about the person who feeds you or the person that employs you. Yeah, that's
Right.
it's clearly just idiotic to think that you could say anything you want to about the person and then say, okay, pick up my check for the next. Yeah, there's just. God put a brain on top of our shoulders for a reason. And it'd be nice if occasionally people that are on social media or people that are in high places would occasionally use it.
Yeah, that's for sure. But that's something like when you get elected like that with the D behind your name, you don't think that. So,
Ooh.
speaking of which, what time is the dog-faced pony soldier going to speak tonight? I'm looking forward to that.
I think he's speaking Thursday,
Wednesday,
isn't he?
Wednesday, isn't it? Wednesday?
Wednesday?
I think
Thursday?
Wednesday night.
Who are you talking about?
Wednesday, okay.
Who?
About Trump.
Oh, it'll be Thursday night.
He speaks
Van
Thursday.
Trump?
Is he
Yeah.
Thursday?
He's Thursday. Vance will be
Vance is
tomorrow
Wednesday.
night,
Okay,
and
got it backwards.
tonight I think Laura Trump's going to be the featured speaker tonight. So
Okay, there we go. I'm looking forward to hearing Trump's speech. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it will be nice. Yep.
if it's anywhere in the neighborhood of last night when he just walked in the building, I imagine it's going to be a pretty historic Thursday night. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's about all I had.
Yeah. Very
The
good
sheriff's
points.
on, but I ain't got nothing to say to the sheriff. Everything's going good. He's doing a good job out there, so they know you beating up on him. So.
It's not me, sir. Got good folks. That's what it gets down to.
Yeah, you do. No complaints. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day and take care.
All right.
See ya.
Thank you for listening. Thanks for the call. 601-485-9191. Working with a law enforcement observation, if you don't mind, Sheriff. And this involves my interaction with the police department. So, but I would like your comment on it. You like the way I set that up? My interaction with the police
Yeah, we
department.
know what happened. I thought we weren't talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Having a little issue downtown with vagrants invading private property. So I made a call to a couple of calls to 911. Still working. We're working through this, but I was going to give kudos because each time that I've called 911, told the situation, the police very helpful and arrived very much, very expeditiously. They didn't take long to get there. So I'm giving thumbs up for the police department for responding. But one thing that I wasn't used to, because I don't generally make 911 calls, and that is the discussion between me and the dispatcher was, "Are you armed?" And I said, and the first time I called, no, I wasn't. The second time I called, yes, I'm armed. And I think that's kind of cool that law enforcement kind of liked, I didn't feel, at all vulnerable to suggest, hey, yes, I'm armed. Just let them know that, because it's just something that law enforcement want to know, evidently, when they're arriving on a scene. And so your comments about that information given.
When you call 911, based upon the type of call, what it's about that you're calling, they have a preset in the computer when they're typing that in. That as they categorize it's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah.
It creates a set of questions designed around that particular call that are common, that are helpful. And so that information then is put in the system, and it's either viewed in the computer in the car if they have one and everything's working the way it should be. And if not, then it's information that's could be given out over the radio, and it's an effort to make sure the officer has as much information as possible as they arrive on the scene.
We did describe what I was driving and what I was wearing. Right. So this was all kind of it's not like the 911 calls that you hear. Oh help! I got trouble! Those are the emergencies. Those are distraught people, and that's the rest. But I'm just simply going through the process of saying I need some help clearing my warehouse, and
they asked what you were wearing.
Yeah, they did.
You got khakis on. You got that nice blue shirt. What are you wearing? What are you wearing, Roger?
Then that day I had blue jeans, a striped shirt, and a straw hat.
At least it wasn't khakis and a red shirt.
Wearing khakis. Yeah. What are you wearing?
And 38
khakis. Yeah.
But no, I was just saying that I think General John Q. Citizen just does not need to be concerned about at least revealing as much information as possible to help I think law enforcement, if I'm not mistaken, I get the idea that they kind of like working in cooperation with the citizens.
Absolutely. We had an incident. This has been 15 years ago. Had a business owner had an alarm go off one night, and he had gotten a call from the alarm company. Dispatch, they have in our computer system, they keep numbers and they try to get a hold of folks, and the alarm company said the key holder was coming, but they didn't have any information about when. Deputy arrives, there was a light on, door was the alarm had gone off, but it had not been broken into. Guy comes walking out. Well, the deputy, he doesn't know who this guy is. He's hollering at him, got a gun out, get on the ground. And of course, this man ultimately did that, but he was furious and came down to complain the next day. And, I was trying to get him to understand. Right. He's you ought to know who I am. I'm like, do you know how many, there's over 70,000 people in Loudoun County. You can't know everybody, and you're not going to know who owns every building and those kind of things. You can't. And,
right.
And one of the things that we offer to the community and been doing these for years, which is a citizen's response to active shooter events called CRAS. It's the companion training that law enforcement receives about active shooters that we offer into the community to get people to thinking about what it is that happens during these events and how you should respond. And a section of that is about, when law enforcement shows up, whether it's a call like you made or it's some kind of incident, because, the backside of you calling can also be that 2 minutes later they get 2 calls in that says, hey, there's a guy with a gun walking around a building down here and he's pointing at people.
Yeah.
Well, now they're trying to figure out what's going on. When they roll up, they may not know is that you? You see what I'm saying? Or is that some vagrants that came out that you're now confronting, or is it something else? And so we tell folks, do what the officers tell you to do.
Yeah.
We'll sort through it.
Yeah.
We'll sort through it, but just
let
do
them go
what
through
they
the process.
Yeah.
I will add that I did use my discretion and not have my weapon drawn when the police arrived. It was
plan,
I'm armed, but it was not in hand
Holster.
I'm waiting for them.
So you could put it back in the holster, right?
I was able to get mine back in the holster.
That,
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
And you were able to do that without having to look down and have to
Bless
act like
her heart.
That's uncalled for.
Bless her
that's
heart.
Absolutely
Sheriff,
uncalled for.
If I'm ever president of the United States, or even a candidate for that.
Wow.
Well, thanks a lot.
Oh, okay, I'll vote for you. Fine.
I think we talked about on the show. Wouldn't it be nice just to have the biggest, baddest person kind of being able to be my cover? And nothing against female employees in law enforcement. Thank God for them. But for the specific task of being a shield for a political officer, wouldn't it be nice just to be able to have the biggest and toughest?
Well, at least I will take competent over biggest any day of the week, though.
So if the young lady was able to holster her weapon properly,
I'm not just saying that. I'm just that in and of itself, though, it's just
it's challenging. It's tough getting it in there.
That's why
everybody saw that. My wife even made a comment about it.
That's why you train. I mean, these folks they get extensive.
Okay, I'll just hold it for a while longer. Okay, now put it back in.
She was one of those DEI hires.
Mornings in Meridian. Let's take a phone call.
I said out.
You said it.
Don't say it.
Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Good morning, y'all. Good morning. What's going on?
Not much.
Now, that means you haven't been listening, so, you know.
I've been listening.
Oh, okay, good.
I've been listening.
Well, I've had people
Yeah,
call
I've
up before
got-
and
I've
say,
got a
what have y'all
point to
been
make this
talking
morning.
about? Yeah.
Huh?
I said, I've had
Do
people
what?
call up. I've had people call up the show and say, well, what y'all been talking about?
Yeah.
Not a good thing to do to a
I've
talk show.
I've got a point to make this morning. If y'all think it's kind of conspiracy theory or not, I'm not really much on that. But don't y'all find it strange that an average Joe citizen, it comes to mind that if there's a rooftop that can be seen at that rally, you should have a sniper on that is zeroed into every rooftop within visibility. Do y'all find it strange that that didn't happen?
I'm going to tell you this much I would believe, and I'd have no direct knowledge that any of these trained, and they call themselves a counter sniper team, would have had that building, points on that building would have already been ranged and down on a card they keep, so they don't have to do that. And that would have been done at multiple, so they're looking, because when they get ready, if something happens and they need to put their scope on something, they already know what the dial, they know where to dial it in at. So they've already done that kind of thing. That's not having to be done during the moment. They would have already done that. That's probably why that only took one shot. I mean, that was, again, there's a lot of information we don't have that I think you got to know to know that. I think when it's said and done, they're going to say it's a failure of the local police department based upon all the published things that I've seen so far, and nobody's come out and said it's not, that particular building was supposed to be taken care of by a local police department or sheriff. I don't know what local agency, but they were supposed to have that building taken care of. And there's a possibility that if they did see somebody on the roof, that this one it's hard for me to say this, that they didn't know whether or not that was somebody in law enforcement or what was going on.
I think that's logical.
Yeah, but 130 yards with a scope, you can tell pretty quick by what.
But to the layman, you'd have to ascertain, okay, is this part of their security team? Is this?
Well, then that's where the communication comes in. Hey, the guy on the roof, is he part of us? Sure. No? Okay, let's take him out. But even if there's a question, why wasn't the president removed? Why wasn't Trump removed?
Yeah.
But I think the other
yesterday, was it Joe that called in yesterday saying that that sniper was told to not engage, that he did see him?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe that story. I think that's all Facebook
Twitterverse.
lore. I just don't think
Wonderful
that happened.
Facebook.
I don't believe
But there was
Well,
an
I'm
interesting
sure
article.
I'd like to know where she got her information from, because
Well, it's been a story on
true.
Facebook,
Yeah, social media.
supposedly from the guy who it actually was, and I can just tell you that he would not have done that. He would not put that out there. That's just not.
I think it'd be good if everybody could remember, if there is such a thing as fake media, if there's such a thing as fake news in professional organizations like I won't mention networks, but how much more?
I will. Who are they?
How much more fake
MSNBC.
news will we find in the social media?
Gosh.
Well, I'll ask one other question. Did they see that guy at all before he pulled the trigger?
Who's
I
they?
mean,
Yes, there are news stories out there that allegedly there were two officers, and one of them either boosted the other one up, or he climbed up on his shoulder or something, and he stuck his head up to look on the top of the building, and the guy was there. He pointed a rifle at him. He jumped off, fell down, and then the guy turns around and starts shooting immediately. No, I don't know if that's accurate, but if it is, I could see that happening.
It's only by the grace of God that Trump is not dead. I mean, it had to have been divine intervention. If he'd moved one way or the other, he wouldn't be alive right now. And I tell you, it's just for somebody like me who's not in the military, I'm not in the police department, I'm not, just an average Joe. When I was in ROTC 40-something years ago, they told us, they said, if you can see it, you can hit it. And every rooftop should have been monitored. Every rooftop within visibility, and it's just, I'm telling you right now, that's just unacceptable.
Well,
That's absolutely a dereliction. Somebody dropped the ball, y'all.
Oh, absolutely.
time.
And I think there'll be somebody's heads or several may roll when it's said and done. But
not in the Biden administration.
Well,
And the Secret Service, the director, she's already said, I'm not stepping down.
Now Biden said he already spoke to him.
Yeah, him. Yeah, that's what he said.
I spoke to him.
I spoke to him.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
say
who
he spoke to
knows
him,
these
but
days?
I guess she's got a low smoker's voice. Hey there, Mr.
That's
President.
a her. Well,
much
pronoun.
Pepsi in
Well,
her
is
past,
that your
I don't know.
pronouns today? Is that your
No,
pronouns
That's
today?
true. We don't know the pronouns.
Yeah, pronouns.
They.
Lefty, thanks for the call. Appreciate you being out there.
All right. I'm listening in.
Listen,
Have a good one.
thank you, sir. Appreciate it. 601-485-9191. We got to tell you, if you see someone up on their roof of their house, please don't think anything of it. They might be trying to check and see if their vents are clear so their plumbing will work properly.
Yeah.
But if you have other problems with your plumbing, there's only one place to go, and that's on 26th Avenue and 12th Street, where you'll find Barber and Son Plumbing.
Barber and Sons, that's right. They've been in business for over 80 years.
Pirates Plumber.
That's right.
The Pirates plumber. Oh, yeah, no eye patches there. 1123 26th Avenue. Give them a call, 601-482-7023. Every type of plumbing is available. All the plumbers go and all the do-it-yourselfers as well. You know, if you're not too familiar with how to fix it, then just take a picture, bring the part in, and Gary will give you detailed instructions on how to repair it, and he'll sell you all the parts, everything you need to do it. That's who you need to go see, Barber and Sons Plumbing. 601-482-7023, 1123 26th Avenue. I think they invented indoor plumbing. They've been in business for so long.
I just had a great idea for somebody who had some time and wanted to make some money. They should create a YouTube channel with Gary
Yeah,
and do plumbing.
no doubt.
Plumbing University with
It
Gary.
would be you could do comedy
Plumbing and
and
stories.
plumbing
That's right.
at
There we
the same
go.
time.
Yeah.
Run that past him.
All you got to do is put a camera on that counter.
Let it
Just
roll.
record
That's
all the
right.
time.
That's
There
all
you
you
go.
got to
There you
do.
go.
Not even
Brilliant
a show,
idea.
Yeah. Just live streaming.
I can't wait till I see Gary next. I've got to.
It's Barber University.
Barb.
Yeah. Now, there's some things that are discussed there that could be
Ooh, that's true.
could be
Yeah.
quite private.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
But hey, that could be edited out. You know.
I put it out there.
Go ahead, YouTube. See what you do with this. You gonna pull this down? Oh, mercy me.
Look, those guys do hard work. I know when I was at Mississippi College and I worked part-time in the maintenance department, I was the electrician's assistant. However, there were a few times when old Jake would take vacation or would be sick. And when those days happened, I knew I was going to get reassigned. And when Tommy the plumber saw me coming up and he was doing this,
Oh, no.
I never liked those days because we were crawling under a building. We were going to be doing something, and it wasn't going to be fun. I never found a lot of fun with Tommy. It was never. I learned a few things, but it was never fun working with Tommy.
Who we gonna get to crawl under there with them spiders?
Yep, that's about right.
Ward.
Calhoun's
Hey,
coming.
Ward.
He'll be here at 1 o'clock.
Calhoun's
so-
here at 1 o'clock.
Oh,
They named a street after you for it. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've been trying to rename that 22nd Avenue.
yeah, I hear
Just
that. every
alter
now
the
and then.
name, really, is we're adjusting.
Mornings in
Tweaking.
Meridian. We're going to take a break for Fox News. We'll be back for more of Mornings in Meridian. Sheriff's in the house. If you have any questions, call 601-485-9191, and we shall return. Yes, that's a promise. Welcome back to Mornings in Meridian. Yes, we had to cover Fox News. We got our local news in there. Thank you for Cash Matlock and the Queen City News Feed, keeping us up to date. And let's say good morning, everybody. I'm Roger B. Say hi to Rob Atkinson.
Good morning.
Good to see you, sir. Yeah. You're looking healthy and spry.
Thank you, sir.
As is.
I actually got the call yesterday from Trump, and I turned it down. Then they picked Vance.
Oh, it could have been
Nice one, yeah.
Well,
thank you, Donald.
he felt like he must have felt like his Meehan vote was in danger.
That's what
Yeah, right.
He wanted to consider getting. We need to pull in that.
Delegates
Pull in the Meehan
were
vote.
swinging in the balance.
Who could we get from Meehan?
We're
I know a guy.
a little concerned about that Western Lauderdale County ballot.
I think we're all concerned about Western Lauderdale County.
I would be.
Sheriff is. We can ask him.
Well, what I was more concerned about was it last Saturday before last, when I went out there to the, for lunch, and last year I'd gotten a cake that was really, really good, and I had in my
Meehan Day?
mind.
Meehan Day?
Yeah, Meehan Day.
Yeah, Meehan Day. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
guess what? They didn't have cake. But guess what they did have?
What?
Buttermilk pie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I got one of those, and man, that thing was good.
Made up for that.
Total
okay.
combined weight of Meehan.
Total combined weight.
We're eating good out there.
That's it.
Absolutely.
It's Mornings in Meridian, and we have a caller on the line there. By the time we finish the introductions, Charles Frazier, of course, in the house.
Good morning.
And the sheriff. You heard his speak right there, Sheriff Ward Calhoun. Speaking of the sheriff, I will just say, by the way, I was sitting on the back porch with my father-in-law when this news broke, I guess, about the president and the shooting, the assassination attempt. And your former boss called me.
He called me.
Oh, okay.
He said, "Are you watching the news?" I said, "No. Do I need to get the SWAT team together?" He said, "No."
Wow.
Hey, here's what I would have said. I would have said, maybe. We might need to go to Pennsylvania.
No, I didn't actually say that, but he did call. He said, "Are you watching the news?" And I said, "No." He said, "You need to put the news on." I did try to assassinate President Trump. I said, "All right, I'll get it on." I was at my in-laws, so we were doing some things over there.
Thank you, William Solly, for keeping us up to date there. Let's take a phone call. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
No.
I can't handle. I can't believe I get to talk to the sheriff this morning.
He's in the house. Before you talk to him, Joe, I just have to say, I wish from the bottom of my heart.
Here we go.
I wish from the bottom of my heart, and this is sincere. I'm not being anything else other than sincere. I wish you were one of the everyday Americans speaking at the convention in Milwaukee.
Wow, yeah.
Well, the only problem with that is they wouldn't let me on stage dressed in leather and a whip, so I don't know.
Whoa. Not that stage, anyway. Wow.
Okay, your question for the sheriff, Joe.
Now that I've got y'all all in the right frame of mind, I got to ask the sheriff. I've been listening to this stupid woman on the radio this morning being interviewed and talking about what happened between the Secret Service communication and the local Leo's communication. And now she's trying to say that since where the shooter was out of the, I don't remember if she used the word purview or out of the range of the Secret Service, that the local Leos should have taken that opportunity. And I'm thinking to myself, that makes no sense. If you know and the Leos know that he was up on that roof, why didn't somebody go out and remove him? And then they were saying at the same time that he did not pose a threat, that they didn't see an AR-15. Okay, so my question is, if he was up there with a bunch of buddies sitting on the roof watching the convention is one thing. But if he's laid out on the roof looking in the president's direction, I think that would be a little suspicious.
I agree with you. There are a lot of things, as we've been talking about, we don't know for sure. I can tell you from experience here, we've done details with Secret Service for Vice President Pence was here 3 different times. Before that, President Bush granddaddy or Daddy Bush, however you want to put it, George, was here for a funeral, and every time we've dealt with them, they depend heavily on local law enforcement. But there are clear directions given about who's responsible for what, and then ultimately it is their call in terms of how things are done. And go ahead.
Well, I can understand that, but my question is, they had 3 eyewitnesses that went on television and said that they had told the Secret Service and the police that they saw this guy crawling up there with an AR-15, and nobody did anything about it. And that's what's confusing to me.
I agree with you. Yep.
Yeah, if they had witnesses that saw this guy, they told somebody. You know, they always tell you, if you see something, say something.
Right.
Well, they did. Well, why didn't anybody act upon it?
It's a great question. I hope the investigation will give us some answers, us being the public.
Well, you know, like I said yesterday, you don't know who to trust with all of this information now. So, you know,
Sure.
I don't know if the truth will ever come out or not, but that is one thing that really stuck out with me, and it made absolutely no sense.
At least locally, Joe, you know where to go to find the truth.
Well, do I?
Yes, you do.
Well, you know, the sheriff is there. I trust him a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Thank
saying.
you.
Sheriff's
May not
here.
always like what we tell you, but we will tell you the truth as best we can. Not best,
And
wrong way of
that's
saying
exactly
that. As much
how-
as we
that's
can.
Right. That's exactly how I feel. You might not like it, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You know, I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.
Have fun at work.
Take care.
Bye, Joe.
By Joe from Chunky checking in here. I do mean that. I think she would be a good speaker at the.
I agree. No, she would be. Not in the whip and the leather, though.
Yeah.
Tone it down. Tone it down.
Sans whip, sans leather. Yep,
yeah,
I
yeah.
get that. Yep. But she would be.
That should be great.
Good everyday American, I think. Of course, there would be so many. I guess that's the good point about having that segment, Everyday American, because, and I'm not sure, is that the right term? I guess it is kind of complimentary because we all are everyday Americans, right? But it's just
Every
nice
day
to see
I'm an
that
American.
And I'm proud to be an American. It's amazing how that's become the Republican National Convention, national anthem. It's interesting.
Lee Greenwood.
What do they play on the other side? I guess we'll have to tune in. And I don't really tune into conventions generally, but this one, I was locked in until too late last night. I
think that the Democratic one is more for entertainment value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's watching those cringe shows. You know.
Well, and the Democratic one's going to be interesting because how are the delegates going to be handled when they officially vote on the floor? Because Biden has basically all of the delegates with the exception of a handful, but how is all that going to transpire when they go to the floor there in Chicago in a few weeks? So it's going to be interesting. So.
It will be interesting to compare. Let's talk about a sponsor, and then I want to talk about money after that. You won't have to have a whole lot of money to go up the road to Philadelphia, Mississippi. In fact, you could end up saving some money because there is no deal like a Doc's deal when it comes to buying a new Toyota or previously owned certified vehicle.
That's right, and they've got all kinds of 2024 Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners, Tundras, Highlanders, Corollas, Priuses, all manner of Toyotas. You know, Toyota is number one in reliability, so that car is going to last a long time. They also have a huge,
very, very large
selection of pre-owned inventory, all been through the rigorous multi-point Toyota inspection process, so you know you're getting a good quality used vehicle. Check them out online at docstoyota.com. They've got all of their inventory listed there, both new and pre-owned. You can even build a car there. And, as you said, there's, many deals out there. Some cars you get a toaster. Some of them you get a blender. Well, who wants those things? I'll tell you what, there is no deal like a Doc's deal.
Mornings in Meridian, the big announcement that came right before the president came out on the floor of the convention, or came out not on the floor, but in his box or in his seats, was the fact that Elon Musk and perhaps other billionaires, and by the way, there's about 2,700 billionaires in the world. I went in Forbes and found that out. In the world, we've got about 2,700 billionaires, and about 800 of them are in the U.S. And the newest ones, of course, include the guy who came out with Cane's
Raising
Cane's. He's
I've
he's
given him a
he's
few
about $9
bucks.
billion.
Yeah. Okay.
Love that sauce.
And of course, there's a young girl. I don't know if you've heard her. Her name's Taylor.
Oh, that Swifty thing.
Swift. I think she's became a millionaire back in
Swift.
October. But that being all
Make
being
the
said,
Swiffer? Is that what that is?
maybe that's it. The
Okay.
Swifter.
Everybody uses those.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
wife has one.
see,
Yes, yes. But $45 million per month for observing, training, and I guess even maybe soliciting mail-in votes.
Mail-in votes, yep.
The Republican Party is, I was thinking, okay, a Saturday event was a big event that bolstered the polls and the chance of victory. And when I heard $45 million a month for this process of the Republicans not cheating, but getting out there and legally doing the things that that can be done to make sure that every vote is legitimate, I said, this is brilliant.
Well,
this is amazing that there's people that are putting up that kind of money.
I mean, regardless of what you think about that, when the NFL comes out with their new rules every year, every team analyzes them and they use them to the best advantage that they can. They know exactly what they can do, how far they can push it, and that's what the Republican Party is finally doing, saying these are the rules. Let's play within the rules, but let's maximize our effectiveness within those rules that are set up, which the Democrats were smart enough to do in the last cycle. So anyway, it's about time. Well done.
But
and that's a lot of money to invest.
Isn't it amazing, though, outside of that story with the $45 million a month with Musk and all these other guys, the changes fundamentally within the Republican National Committee have been a breath of fresh air. Nothing against Ronna McDaniel, but Laura Trump and Whatley and some of these others they brought in, they have embraced a lot of these changes. The fundraising has been done just perfectly. I mean, look at all that. They're out raising Biden right now.
Yeah.
Did you have that on your bingo card here in mid-July that a Republican would be out raising a Democrat right now in the presidential cycle because there's no money coming in for Biden right now. The faucet's turned off right now because there's so much infighting within the party that a lot of the fundraising is stopped on that side.
Sure.
And while Trump is thriving, I mean, just off of the 34-count indictment that came down.
Let alone the shooting.
I mean, and then the shooting. I mean, it's just, and then this. I mean, it's just like, my goodness,
Which gives me the new idea for a meme or even a logo for the Democrat Party is a mule that has a bucket and they're dipping water out of the bottom of a boat, trying to keep things afloat.
But my whole thing about it is, don't get too confident.
Come on, say it.
You have to be in a situation. You're in the fourth quarter. You're on your own 20-yard line. You're down by 7. You got the football. Stay aggressive. Don't take anything for granted because a fix or a cheat is always possible.
One of the best strategies the Democrats could use is giving the opposition the feeling that they have it.
Yep.
Well, and also they have the network. They've got the party machine is there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of smart people in the Democratic Party.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a lot of backers.
Yeah.
So, and maybe that's what they want. Give them a lot of confidence, and then we'll sneak in and win it in the fourth quarter.
How many games have you seen, Rob, where the one who was up took that for granted?
Oh, this entire 3.5 quarters has gone one team's way, and all of a sudden, at the very last minute, one last drive, boom, ball game's over.
That's why you have to fight. Mornings in Meridian. Let's take a phone call. 601-485-9191.
Let the games begin.
Let the games begin.
Here's one who secretly desired to be an Olympiad.
Yeah. Gentlemen, start your engine.
Oh, NASCAR. There you go.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that is the reason why we watched the presidential debate, because we wanted to see the wrecks.
Oh, yeah.
We wanted to see the crashes.
Yeah, everything but the smell of the tires on the burnout.
There you go.
Some smells there. But.
What's on your mind, front porch?
Best seat in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm learning things that I've been out of touch with. I was looking at the WTOK news this morning. I saw a post from WLBT, and I didn't realize that Michael Hurst was the state chairman of the Republican Party.
He is.
Didn't know that. Well, let me tell you what I done. in light of Mr. Benny Thompson, his personnel, his participation as chairman of the January 6th bogus Get Trump Commission, as well as his attempt, plus a few others, to sign to have security taken away if Trump was convicted as a felon for the same project he was participating in producing a felon of. I called the office of our guest, Michael Guest, Taylor to Michaels.
Yes.
Well, and I got one of his staffers, I guess they're called, and asked him that if I had a special request, could he put it in the suggestion box? And my suggestion was that he do what he could. I'm not being a lawyer, I don't know the particular terminology, but have Benny Thompson cited for this number of numerous things that I just previously mentioned. They talk about the Confederate flag being bad for economic development in Mississippi. Not as bad as Benny Thompson.
Mm-hmm. Telling you.
Well,
what would you like to see happen over there in the Delta?
I'd like to see them wake up. If they want to get out of Sugar Ditch, they better find a representative that can take them there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one guy that can't pour piss out of a boot. And I hope that my suggestion.
You can. The instructions are on the bottom.
Okay.
I'm messing with you. Sorry.
Well, that's all right. I just hope I put a bug in his ear to have someone take some kind of action.
Yeah.
Just to have him recognized for future reference.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good job, sir.
Thank y'all. It's good to hear the sheriff.
Yep.
Take care.
It's good to hear the sheriff. And we've kind of not talked a lot about law enforcement other than relating to a little bit here in Lauderdale County. So anything that we need to make sure we get out here today before we forget about it, as far as what's going on in the Meridian, law enforcement wise or crime wise?
Well, we will continue to beat the drum about being responsible drivers. I don't know if y'all have seen the latest NHTSA study talking about distracted driving by cellular devices.
Oh.
And, we used to talk about texting. That's not, texting is part of it. It's now we're YouTubing and Facebooking and watching videos in addition to all the other distractions. Distracted driving. Study came out showing like 24% of car crashes. If I got my number right, I think it was 23.5, whatever it was.
Nearly
right along
a quarter
there.
of the car crashes.
Nearly a quarter. That's ministerially speaking, a bunch.
A bunch.
Are directly tied to people not doing what they should be doing, which is operating a motor vehicle. So I want to encourage people, put your seat belts on, quit with the telephones. Cars are a lot safer today. Got airbags and warning systems in so many cars, but we've become so dependent on them that we've decided that we can do other things, or a lot of people have.
Mm-hmm.
So I just encourage people to do that.
So, I wonder, is there an increase of 24% in accidents since the advent of cell phones, or
No,
do you
I
think
think
it's just
that was of the crashes that the study had looked
okay,
at.
but you would
So,
think
but
that
we're
there would
still,
be,
man. Look at we have car crashes. You go. It's a beautiful day. There's no rain. Well, how are people running into each other? I mean, it's inattention.
Sure.
Bottom line, whether it's distracted or they're not paying attention to what we used to talk about being that defensive driver. If everybody does that, we're gonna have a lot less and it costs all of us an insurance premium.
Oh my!
Not just cars, but health insurance and all these other things. So let's just work on that. We need to keep working on that.
My wife watches someone who does a YouTube out of southern Florida on the East Coast, and she was talking about she was traveling down Interstate 95, and she hates to do that because she noticed as she looked around, everybody that's going 90 on 95 is looking down. boy, you just got to hope that traffic keeps flowing right because it's interesting. But yeah, we're a lot of distraction out there. 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Good morning. That was Roger. That was too slow. If you out here going 95 on interstate, you going too slow, man. You gonna get ran over.
We got the sheriff here. Careful what you say.
Oh, that's great.
Listen, I hate this morning after stuff, and I'm going to ask the sheriff something, but he can answer whatever. I'm tired of this, Roger. Every time, I'll call in before when we get this morning after, and we're not taking the precaution that we should be, and it's always, we didn't do this or we didn't do that. It's unexcusable. Everyone that's in charge of the Secret Service, the local police, somebody needs an answer for that stuff. Mm-hmm. Really. Here's a man crawling around on the building and people hollering, somebody's right there, and we keep advertising, see something, say something. Okay, we saying something, but you're not hearing us. Mm-hmm. So we got a problem, man, and I'm tired of hearing it the day after. And I'm really upset and angry about crazy stuff like that. It's just no excuse for it.
I like what Liz Lawback texted in. She said if Secret Service couldn't or shouldn't take the shot, they could have at least radioed down to tell Trump to get off the stage.
Well, that's what they should have done. If there's a threat, right? Yeah. Isn't that kind of the protocol?
Yes.
Any threat at all, you remove him.
Because if there's a threat, not just President Trump, but anybody who's in positions like that. And when you wake up and when you walk out, there's a potential threat, and it should always be security at every possible level. And I just want to ask Sheriff, you're doing a great job, sir. I just want to ask you one question. When things like this happen, do the department kind of like check their readiness when something like this happens?
You talking about, for example, like us?
Yeah. On the local level, yeah, do.
As the sheriff, it causes me to ask the question, to think about, all right, what the training we're doing, if and when, because we've done this. We've had Vice President Pence has been here 3 times, and our SWAT team was there. As was at the rally, was there what they call a CAT team, which is a counter assault team. Because the Secret Service is about protecting that person and getting them moved and gone. The folks that are going to do the fighting is going to be that counter assault team. Or in this case, you had what's commonly referred to as a counter sniper or sniper team. But anyway, that their job is to take care of their protectee, whether that's the president or whoever they're looking after. And their job is to cover him up, get him in a car, and get him away. But back to your question, it will cause everybody at every level that ends up doing these types of activities, events, even if it's not with the Secret Service, it's going to cause everybody to stop and say, okay, what lesson do we learn from this? No different than we have in law enforcement from lots of different things. Columbine, for example, we learned pretty quickly that you don't set a perimeter and call the SWAT team, which used to be the way to do it back up until the late 90s. Now it's active shooter. Even that has evolved. When they first started active shooter, it was you waited till the second officer got there, and then you made entry and go toward wherever the active shooting is going on. Today, we wouldn't even do that anymore. You're the Lone Ranger. You're the first guy there, girl there. You go. You got to go stop the killing. There's not time. So law enforcement has to learn from these events, and I can assure you that there's going to be a lot of dissecting what went on with this as time goes by to learn from those mistakes and hopefully never make those mistakes.
There was a lot of fallout in Uvalde, Texas, as a result of the
meeting. When that happened, I had several people ask me, said, "What if that had been in Lauderdale County?" I said, "Look, I can't tell you that every deputy out there in Lauderdale County, I can't tell you what they're going to do. Nobody knows. We can train and do, and everybody can talk until you're that person on that moment. I say this, I guarantee you, out of our bunch, there would have been multiple ones of them would have figured out how to get into that room." And they were like, well, they couldn't get in. I said, you take a car and drive it into the wall at 40 miles an hour with 3 other guys standing to the side, knowing you're going to take a lick with an airbag, and the other guys are going to crawl over the car and get into that room. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do whatever it takes to stop the killing.
Thank you. So. Yes.
Yes, sir. I don't want to hear. I hope not. We don't hear another one of these. With miss opportunity. That's what gets me. So, thank you for all that you do, and we're gonna be listening. And Roger, y'all have a great and blessed day.
Thank you, man on the street. You the man. Mornings in Meridian. We want to thank the folks down there at Southern Business Supply, and it makes getting business supplies easy. Just call them at 601. Well, no, you've got the number there.
No, you're right. 601.
485
2447.
2447.
That's what I did yesterday, and I've got a delivery coming this morning. So pretty excited about that.
Just that easy.
I got Bankers boxes on the way.
Bankers
Gonna
boxes.
make my day.
How about that?
And also some pens.
Got to do something to put them $100 bills in.
You know it. Yeah, I got a bunch of them, too. All right. Anyway, Southern Business Supply, just go to southernbusinesssupply.com. You can point and click, and then they'll send you the order the next day, or call them 601-485-2447. Better yet, go down and see them at their beautiful showroom. All kinds of office supplies there, full lines of office furniture and home office furniture at Well. They're at 5685 Dale Drive. You know, when you buy local, your money stays here. Say no to the big box stores and say yes to southernbusinesssupply.com.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, pay some bills. We'll be back. Beverly Knox is in the house. She's going to be talking about something important coming up here. So let's take a break, and we'll be back, and we'll have a little discussion with Ms. Beverly, who's dressed so nicely this morning. Looks so pretty. I don't know. Am I allowed to say that?
You did.
Okay. of the rain. Yeah. How about some Judds this morning?
Yeah.
And you can hear the Judds on our sister station. That's 105.7.
The legend.
That's the one, Rob. Roger, along with Rob, Charles is in the house.
Yep.
And the sheriff departed the studio a little early. No emergency that we know of course, because we do have another guest that's going to be speaking up here in just a moment. So we'll be looking forward to her. But let's just say a good thing about our good friend, Jeffrey Wilson. I dare you, come up with something bad to say about Jeffrey Wilson. Can you think of anything bad to say about him?
He doesn't always wear khakis. You know, I've talked about that before, and I'm like, he's always in the khakis, and then I saw him the other day in the restaurant, no khakis. And I was like, really, Jeffrey?
Smile's not big enough.
Going with the slack.
Smile's not big enough.
No, he's got a pretty big smile.
There's a complaint there, right?
Yeah. Don't get me started. We'll be. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, it is great. Good guy, and he's a good neighbor.
He's a good neighbor. Of course, Jeffrey Wilson State Farm, and of course, when you combine your State Farm home and auto insurance, you can save an average of $889. Wow. Now, that's just an average. You may save even more.
Wow.
That is amazing. Everybody needs every penny at this point. Jeffrey Wilson's ready to help you combine your home and auto right here in Meridian. 601-438-8253 will get you in. Of course, you can well at his beautiful office where the coffee is always hot. That's 2401 Highway 39 North, and it's very important that you know your insurance agent. Sit down with them once a year, kind of evaluate all your insurance needs. You know, you can drop some things, add some things, but it's very important that all of your property is taken care of. Because when you need insurance, boy, you really need him. That's why Jeffrey Wilson is a great neighbor. Jeffrey Wilson, State Farm Insurance, 2401 Highway 39 North. 601-483-8253.
Jeffrey doesn't do enough in the community too.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh, is that another complaint?
Well, never around.
He's not on any board.
No boards.
He doesn't do a thing.
So. Doesn't contribute
Poor
enough
guy.
back
Nothing.
to the community.
Such a selfish human being.
Terrible.
We love Jeffrey. Okay,
well, that's right. Yeah, you can't help but love
neighbor.
Jeffrey. Yeah. And he's got a good staff there, so just know that when you go there, you're going to be talking with people that know
And
what
he
to do.
does wear khakis sometimes.
Oh, well, I'm
So,
sure.
you know, I mean, as we all do, I think.
Sometimes.
Never seen you in khakis.
Yeah. Well, here she is, our next guest. She could have been Miss Mississippi and maybe competed for Miss America.
Wow.
But she chose to just make sure that she was involved in broadcasting and making sure that people got the news right. But no, here she is, folks, a great member of our society, our community here, and I'm talking about Beverly Knox. Welcome to our show.
Good morning. Well, glad to be here this morning.
And I appreciate you coming in because you want to talk about, well, first of all, you want to talk about something that's, I think, very important because there is a real problem that people have, especially as they age a little bit. They have hearing loss.
What?
He say something.
I said they have hearing loss.
Turn it up.
Yes.
Hearing what? What is?
And herein lie our problem. We want to make sure that we promote this very important Lunch and Learn. We are the Community Health Improvement Network, and we are thankful to be here. And just wanting to promote our Lunch and Learn on hearing loss awareness, which is scheduled for Thursday, July the 18th at 12 noon at North Park Church. We have Dr. Shane Tucker, who will be presenting and sharing with us so that we can learn how to prevent hearing loss.
So that's this Thursday. So we're bearing down on it here on Thursday. Very good.
So Thursday, right here, Lunch and Learn. So who's invited to this Lunch and Learn?
The public is invited. All we need is you to RSVP by calling 601-483-2661. Let us know that you are coming so that we can prepare for your lunch.
Okay. So that's 601
483 2661.
2661. And we just repeat that so that people who are driving right now and they're using their knee to drive while they're writing this down on a little scratch pad or type.
Yeah, okay. Surely not.
And folks, this is not a luncheon for selective hearing. Let's clear that up. So.
Oh, darn. I was thinking I got a free lunch coming.
Selective hearing.
Yeah.
Some people have that.
About hearing loss, we know that just having diabetes and hypertension, different other health issues can increase hearing loss. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that we know what we're doing. We want to make sure that we're listening to music and earphones turned down to a level that's not hurting our ears.
Oh, now that's there's a couple of people in town with their stereos in their cars we need to get the message to, because
bass going, boom.
You can hear them coming down the street like maybe 10 blocks away.
This is true.
And they don't realize when they're doing that if they do that over a prolonged period of time, it's going to hit them sooner rather than later.
That's right. 'Cause we lose hearing as we age.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Now, have we seen an increase in hearing loss, with the advent, I guess, of the Walkman back in the 80s, I mean, have we seen an increase because of that? Is that
I don't
directly
know
correlated?
if there is an increase, but I do know that it is a problem because we've had so many to call and talk about, we need to talk about hearing aids, learn about hearing aids and the different types and whatnot. So it prompted this particular Lunch and Learn. We do a needs assessment with every Lunch and Learn just to try to find out where people are, what they're experiencing in reference to their health. And we base our Lunch and Learn topics upon those needs assessments. So hearing loss was one of the ones that we really wanted to make sure that we covered this.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the Walkman. Nowadays you see the little earbuds everybody wears. They're on their phones all the time, and they probably don't have those in an appropriate volume. They're wearing those constantly with that volume way too high. So.
It is something that we really believe that is important enough to bring to our attention so that we can be sure that we're not doing anything to hurt our hearing.
So that when we honk at those distracted drivers, they'll hear us. Yeah, that's key.
That's
like,
right.
There's Roger. I got him. Oh,
Get
what am I
away,
distracted?
you
Okay, I'll stop watching that YouTube channel. Fine. Get back to driving.
Going 90.
That's right. But it's so what we're saying is if we don't do something, we're creating a generation that's going to have hearing loss at a much earlier age than the typical, grandma and grandpa when they get into their 80s and they got to go get a hearing aid.
This is true, and we know that, like I said, you lose a little of your hearing as we age anyway, and according to the doctors, if you lose your hearing, there's no really way to get that hearing back, but we can improve our hearing with the different, hearing aids and whatnot.
Technology,
Right, that's in place now. So we want to make sure that we are not hindering ourselves, but helping ourselves, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah, and a lot of folks with hearing aids now, they're like, I don't want to wear that big bulky thing on my ear. It's the embarrassment I have hearing. But they make these hearing aids now where they are so tiny, you can't even tell that somebody's wearing a hearing aid.
That's right.
Because technology has progressed so much over the last several years. So.
Yeah.
So you can learn more about it, and it's going to be at Lunch and Learn. It's going to be coming up this Thursday. That's a day after tomorrow. And it's going to be at lunchtime, noon. And it's going to be held at?
North Park Church. That's 7770 Highway 39 North. And we are looking forward to
Just across from Northeast Middle School.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we all voted there, so I know exactly where that is.
You know right where that is.
That's where I vote.
Vote there one
There
time.
you go.
A one-time vote, whatever.
Yeah, one-time vote.
So
That's
there you
good.
have it. One-time
I
vote.
couldn't bring that in.
I voted there once.
It's not garbage
I voted
fees.
there once. Y'all the garbage fees.
Oh, mercy. We're so glad you're out there, folks. And, of course, like I said, if you have a comment about this or that or anything else, you can call us at 601-485-9191, 601-485-9191. Beverly Knox, we were talking about you being in broadcasting, and you did work in broadcasting as in your earlier days. Is that correct?
That's correct. Early days. Yes, right out of college. Went to work at WHTV, News Source 24.
News Source 24.
News Source 24.
Yes,
Yeah.
years and years ago.
She was trying to give Don Johnson a run for his money.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Oh, not the Miami Vice
TV
Don
11.
Johnson.
No.
Okay.
John
John
Johnson.
Johnson.
John Johnson. Thank
like
you
when
for
she wear it, putting
I can't help it.
The
I'm
white
old.
blazers.
Yeah.
You weren't
Who's that
listening.
guy?
You weren't listening. Your hearing's bad.
Of course, everybody remembers John Johnson being on the News Center 11. Of course, 24 making inroads there, and they and you did, didn't you? You kind of
we had some times.
You made John sweat a little bit.
Yeah, I like to think so. Yeah.
It's always good to make him sweat. And now, Ms. Knox, let me ask you. So you've got, I assume you'll have technological kind of displays of different things, different hearing aids and so on that are available. Is that right?
I don't know what Dr. Shane Tucker is going to present, but he will be doing the presentation, and so we're looking forward to him and his presentation and whatever it is that he's bringing to help us learn more about hearing loss, what we can do about those that are experiencing this difficulty right now. So we're looking forward to hopefully
good deal.
Seeing the technology that he will have for us.
Okay.
Very good.
Wonderful.
And we are thankful. Community Health Improvement Network, of course, is here to serve everybody. We are partner in healthcare, and that's what this is all about on today. We are basically thankful for our partners, and we have about 15 partners, including our major hospitals who are also our major contributors, and so we are thankful to be in place in Meridian.
Right on.
So you got
good stuff.
You got some. You got some good, strong help there from all the hospitals.
Oh yes,
that's good news.
Yes,
I like hearing that.
Yes, we do, and of course, City of Meridian, East Central Health Net, EMBDC, Greater Meridian Health Clinic, MCC, Meridian Housing Authority, State Department of Health. We are all partners as well. Phil Hardin, Weems Community Mental Health, on Oshner Rush, as well as Baptist Anderson. And we are so thankful for all of our partners.
Well, very good.
That contribute and make this happen in Meridian.
Well, I want to say a big thank you, Beverly, coming in and spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's Lunch and Learn, Thursday, 12 o'clock. It's going to be at North Park Church, Highway 39, right across from Northeast Middle School. It's a chance to learn more about hearing loss and what you can do about it, or maybe even prevent it. How about that?
That's right.
Thank you, Beverly.
Thank y'all for having me.
So glad to have you
Good
here.
Good morning to you.
And I would, if I were a judge, I would have voted you for Miss Meridian, Miss Mississippi, Miss America. I would have done it.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
We'll be back. Stay with us.
She's got the look.
She's got the look.
This is why we don't have a band, Rob.
Better than Jack Black, that's for
Oh, got that right.
I'm just glad my hearing's not so good.
Mornings in Meridian. Oh,
Maybe you should
mercy.
go to luncheon on Thursday.
What? Well, I can't.
You need to lunch and learn this Thursday, North Park.
Learn it.
That's
Don't
right.
need any more lunch.
Mornings in Meridian. Glad you're back here, folks. We're going to wrap it up here, but we want to tell you about Premier Paint and Body Shop. That's going to happen. If you're looking down at your phone, you're going to run into somebody, and somebody's going to run into you because nobody's looking and seeing what they're doing. So listen up. This is important. Just simply go to Premier Paint and Body.
Conveniently located right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North Coast. They open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Like new results. You got that ding, dent, scratch? No, it's gone. And your car is like brand new. No job is too small or too large. They will give you a free estimate. Just bring it down there, have it towed in, and they'll tell you how much it's going to be. And, of course, they'll work with your insurance company. And that's key because I don't want to work with my insurance company. Unless it's Jeffrey Wilson, then I want to work with them.
Well, of course.
Just got to put in there. But Premier Paint and Body, Dodge North 601-482-PAINT is their number. 601-482-PAINT. Give them a call and write that number down because when you need them, you really need them. Premier Paint and Body, they are the premier paint and body shop in town.
So tonight, guys, another night of the Republican National Convention. I think it's going to be a very interesting night. Nikki Haley is speaking
huge.
tonight. So we're going to see how that rolls
You think
out
she's
tonight.
going to endorse Trump? You think they made nice?
I think she already has endorsed
I like him now. We're
Yeah.
friends. We're
And I want to say that Laura Trump is also going to speak tonight as well because I think tomorrow night, of course, J.D. Vance is going to be kind of the big speaker tomorrow night with him being the vice presidential nominee. And I want to say Eric Trump and Don Jr. are going to be kind of mixed in on the next two nights.
Did you see Laura Trump yesterday?
Yeah.
Second Amendment. She got the guns. You see that? I mean, she was like
she's
seriously muscular.
My wife made that comment.
I was like,
she said she could punch you out.
She could.
Yeah.
She probably would.
Eric better not mess up. Laura's going to
That's
beat
right.
it down.
Yeah. Where's the pants in that
Exactly right.
household?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, I think he was wearing pants yesterday. I'm pretty sure.
Who wears the pants in any family, really?
We all know. Anybody who's married knows.
And guys, I don't know about you, but last night when Trump made his way out into the arena with that music playing in our household, we got pretty misty-eyed just because of what he's gone through. And then when they showed Donald Trump Jr., that's when I just kind of lost it. Big tough guys crying with American flags. I mean, it was just so American as it gets last night. So
it was designed to be, and it was effective. I mean, they
did it
right. It's a show, and
it is.
That darn Lee Greenwood does it to me every time.
Darn it, Lee, you're making me cry.
You've done one thing in your life right, and that was that song.
And I'm gladly stand up next to you. Yeah. Well, listen, that's it for today. We'll give a kind of a recap tomorrow. See how things go with the convention this evening. It's Mornings in Meridian. Join us tomorrow. I'm Roger. He's Rob. He's Charles. Say goodbye, fellas.
Goodbye.
God bless and bye local.